payroll. Pay our internet bill.
We're live.
Great, thank you.
All righty. We'll call this meeting to order. Begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. It's over there. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everyone. We begin with the consent agenda. Recommended action and approve the following items which are included in the consent agenda: 5A minutes for the Board of Education, 7A policy second read, 7B resolution for the disposal of personal property, and 7D special education. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Lee.
Thank you.
Is that Ryan?
Yeah, Colleen and Ryan. Colleen won.
Yeah.
Any discussion? Any changes? If not, please vote.
They can't vote.
Oh, they can't vote. Yeah, that's right. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Thank you.
That was good.
Real hard.
Everybody vote. No.
All right. Next is for the good of the cause. Information for the public section doesn't have anything in it. For now, the next is the public address portion. Do we have any email or letters?
There's no email. Zach Clark is here.
Okay, then I'll just read a little bit and then we'll let Mr. Clark at this time. The Board of Education encourages public participation on school-related matters at board meetings. To allow for public participation, a period not to exceed 30 minutes has been set aside at the beginning of the end of the meetings. As a general rule, public participation will be limited to 5 minutes total per speaker. Anyone who wants to speak should state their name and sign the sheet. Comments should be general in nature and should not involve concerns regarding specific employees of the district, as the board has separate protocol for these matters. This is a protection for school employees and to assure their due process rights in a public forum. Individuals wishing to raise a specific concern should follow regulations outlined in policy 1400. Mr. Clark, you have the floor.
Thank you very much for letting me express some of my concerns. For those of you who don't know me, Zach Clark, LPHS class of '87. Two wonderful kids that went through Miss Franklin's school here and we're now at the middle high school, Emma and Madeline. Yes, Cora is my sister. Don't hold that against me. So the reason why I'm here, I spoke with Ryan and Tim briefly about it, is my concerns or confusion in looking for some answers with SLP girls hockey. My understanding is the girls hockey is under the Seneca Lake School District umbrella and SLP boys is under the LPHS. When we having girls, I'm here to ask questions about that. So there's not only myself, there's other parents involved as well that have these same questions and concerns. We're just looking for some answers. Obviously those answers aren't here tonight. There's going to need to be some research done, but we're kind of wondering why we're always doing raffles for this. Close to 6,000 already. These are really close numbers. We had an overnight tournament in Thousand Islands, New York. So the kids were required to stay with other kids. So with 25 kids on the team, we needed 13 rooms, 3 for the coaches. No managers went. So, you know, we're looking at around $2,200 there. They went to the Olive Garden for dinner. I don't know what an Olive Garden costs now, but we're probably having $30 a head, tax and tip, maybe, who knows? There's another $850. Of the 5,800 raised, we spent maybe 3,000 on that. After our game last week, we're all handed another envelope to sell more raffle tickets. This time, the raffle tickets are $20 a pop, required to sell 10. Our question is, where is this money going? Why do we need to sell raffle tickets for a high school varsity sport? If we know the game, we know our schedule, we know we have an overnight, then that should be budgeted through the athletic director, you guys, or whomever. We should be having bake sales every week to support a high school hockey program. This isn't youth hockey, this is a high school sport. It just, people are frustrated and kind of tired of it. It's Christmas time. Now you're looking at $20 a pop. I mean, I got 10 in the truck if you want me to go out and get them, if you guys don't want to buy some. It just gets old, because everywhere you go, somebody's selling a ticket. This is the high school sport. And the first thing you can do, you take your ticket, you put it on Facebook, social media, hey, I'm selling tickets, Maddie's selling tickets, and it's just hard. And we're wondering where the money goes. And this also happens with SLP girls hockey. My older daughter played. 1 year ago was $500. Last year was $750. What are we getting out of it? A sweatshirt, a jacket? They get to keep that? Where does the money go? And nobody really has any answers. So I did again, spoke with Ryan and Tim, and hopefully we find some answers.
All right, thank you. You have a minute left. Is there anything else?
Yeah, we want to go in 1 other minute. This is also, we're SLP hockey. We should be SLP and possibly Tupper Lake. I know my daughter plays on a travel team out of Shazy for a 14U program. There are 5 kids on Tupper Lake that would really help our high school program. So maybe their parents would love to see them skate with us as Tri-Lakes instead of traveling or not playing at all. Maybe that's something that could be addressed in the new year. I understand there's a contract with different school districts, but that's just food for thought. And that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Thanks, Zach.
Sure, I turn off my timer so that thing doesn't scare us again.
I'm still getting a little out of class.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else?
Did you have any questions from the tour or anything like that? If not, I was about to.
No,
All right.
get a good night's rest if you need it, and
Thank you.
yeah, both of you, and you're welcome to stay if you so choose, Amanda, or you can go home
Well,
whenever.
you mentioned share some data.
Yeah. Okay, you want to see me fumble through it, that's why, right? Sorry.
We got
Oh my gosh, I'm not a delegate, so I'll call you right out of the audience.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sonia.
All right, so the next section is it's also, are we back up? That thing quit?
That seems to be rolling.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Whatever.
I don't know why the screen is partial.
But just leave it.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Let's
it's totally
not touch it in case it like breaks.
Right.
We have to go find where Joe went. Next is reports for the board, starting with the budget performance report. Dana?
Hopefully you had a chance to review the documents. It's the same format as I provided last month. There's nothing really unusual about our month-end revenue and expenses. We're trending in the normal direction. You know, we are, if you look at kind of the bottom of every page, there kind of gives you a insight, a revenue insight, an expense insight, and thus far right now we are trending about 3.5% higher than last year in terms of our expenses. Our budget increase was 3.9%. We're trending about exactly where we should be in terms of our expenses. Our revenue the same way. Most of our revenue has already come in, a little over $17 million. That's our tax levy. That comes in through the month of September, October, and the first few days of November. And you'll see that most of that has come in. When I looked at it, I think we were about $1 million short of what we are supposed to collect. And that gets sent to the county, and the county ends up collecting that through re-levying the taxes of people. And in the end, come April, we get a check to make it whole. But So what you're seeing now is our revenue and our expenses are trending exactly where they should be. There's nothing sticking out in terms of, oh my goodness, we got these unusual expenses and stuff. So questions on that specific report? I've given you 2 additional reports under that. They're called cash flow. So under the budget performance report, I've given you a cash flow look at November and then also a look back, which is just percentages. And really what this document is showing you is our actuals and then our projected in terms of our cash flow. And something I've been saying through these monthly reports is just that is most of our revenue, 80 to 83% of our revenue comes in the first few months. And then the rest of it trickles in. Our state starts to come in, and then by June, it's all in. And these documents, these cash flow projections are showing you just what I've been saying, but it's actual numbers. It's our actual. So if you look at the November one, it shows us the actuals from July through the end of November, and then everything else is projected based off of last year. The second document I provided shows you the actual from last year, but it's just percentage. It's not the dollar amounts. It's where we're collecting it. And again, it just shows you that by June, everything comes in and it's 100%. So 84% of our revenue comes in the first few months, and then the remaining 17% trickles in over the remaining 7 or 8 months of the school year come June. But I wanted to show you this because if you remember through our state audits, one of the findings was investments, and part of that was showing districts have to do a monthly cash flow projection. And in my response to the state in terms of it was we would start doing these cash flow projections. That's what this is. So not only did we look at switching, and we did switch to the 9 class because that's the highest rates for our excess funds, but also providing a monthly cash flow projection to you guys moving forward. So we're starting that process as well. So just letting you know that's what we provided to the state. It's actually what we are going to be doing and are doing. So that's we didn't just send them a fluff letter to get them off our backs and then we move forward. Questions on the cash flow projection, but you'll start seeing this document once a month as well.
Great, thanks. Any questions for Dana on the budget? Treasurer's report.
Treasurer reports. I'm gonna go back to what I typically say is we're flush with cash. You can see that highlighted in on the right hand side of the first page of the Treasury reports. Our NI class unrestricted in a reserves account. We have about $15.7 million sitting in the NI class system. That's what's generating our 5+ percent rate of return. That is what is sitting there. Insured cash sweep, that is what we have. We have a little over $3 million there. That's something we can grab, and that's what we are doing now is so we pull from the cash sweep, and then when we need money, we'll move it out of the NI class into the cash sweep so that it's still we're still generating interest on it. But the ICS, we can get it within minutes. We can move it because it's within our NBT banking system, whereas the NI class sits somewhere else. It takes about 24 hours to move the money from NI class into our bank accounts. But the ICS, we can move it within minutes. So that is kind of a general trend for us is how as we move through the school year is moving the money from the NI class to the ICS to our operating accounts. When payroll comes up, when we have a check warrant that has to go out and we got to pay our bills, we'll make sure we get our internet paid next month. But that's kind of the flow of the money going through, and that is representative of this Treasury report. We brought in a little over $500,000. We dispersed a little less than $2 million, but that's exactly how it typically happens for us. Cash comes in much early on in the first couple months, and then we spend down our excess. So, questions on the Treasury reports?
Thank you, Dana. Next is Operation Committee report.
Okay, so
So
there's
now
two,
introducing Dana Wood.
two documents there that were provided. One is a sample, what we would look for in a transportation studies. One of the things, again, what all districts have been mandated starting in 2027 is we have to start to electrify our bus fleets, starting in 2027. There are organizations out there, entities out there now that will do comprehensive studies to see what we need to do and stuff like that. What I provided here is a sample of what that study would entail. NYSERDA they have money available so that they would pay for 75% of one of these studies for districts. When I spoke to NYSERDA, they said it could be, the cost could be anywhere from $40,000 to $70,000 to $80,000 based on the size of the district. But it's pretty comprehensive. If you look at this document in terms of what the study would look at, it is, truly a comprehensive report from data collection to route analysis to consumption charging strategies. They'll even look at the infrastructure. So they would reach out to the municipality to say, okay, could you handle, 11 chargers, for our bus routes and stuff like that, our buses. So everything I understand is it's a really comprehensive report. So when Tim and I were talking about it, we thought it would be good to share that with you guys to have further discussion as is, if we want to head down in that direction of getting an RFP out there so that we can solicit vendors that could do such a study, knowing that within 3 years, we're going to have to start the process, at least as of today.
I just read there's some legislators that are, right, just recently in the
And then
past week,
STAC has
right?
come out and
Yeah, just
said
came out
that,
and said-
right, either eliminate the mandate
Yeah,
or
I
the
just
state
read
should
that.
fully fund it.
So let me ask you a question, Dana. So you use the word mandate. Do we have a copy of the law that is passed that mandates this? I'd like to read it.
I don't have a
Yeah,
copy,
I'd
but
like
it's
to read
probably out there, yes.
I'd like
We're
to-
going off the governor's
Yeah.
word that this is.
Yeah.
I can tell you, talking to other school districts and friends that are on the board too, they're 100% saying, we're not doing
Not doing
it. Let them come in and tell us to do it and let them come in and buy us a bus if that's what they want. Let them
Right.
come in and put the power in because
Unfunded mandates.
it. I feel
Yeah.
the same way, Ryan.
you can't, there's no
Yeah.
possible way we can put our children in those buses and send them down 86 or
30 below
73
zero.
and 30 below zero and have that bus quit.
Not
It's just
happening.
not smart.
It's already backing
Not
out on
happening.
at least
We're
a
not
couple
doing
of states.
And let's not even talk about what it's going to cost to put the power in at the bus garage and then
All of that.
chargers. And I mean, look
The
at the
charge-
future games. They brought in diesel generators to power the buses.
They had a whole show on from California over the weekend of people lining up at 10 o'clock at night trying to charge their vehicles up to get home.
Utter nonsense.
They were lining up for 6, 7 hours in stations that weren't available. It just hasn't really been.
So
thought of.
hopefully if we do decide to go forward with this study and all that stuff, I'm telling you right now, when they do the route analysis or the temperature analysis,
Right.
somebody's gonna go, oh, wait a minute. These
And,
people
and
can't
those
do
studies are already out in terms of
Yeah,
the buses that,
Yeah, truckers on,
these
it's
buses
like,
are getting about
like
120 miles per
6, 7
charge, and they're already saying that anywhere from 10 to 20% reduction in the battery life. Yeah,
Well, anybody
exactly.
here at the table that uses even a hybrid, you can see how it decreases, like in the cold weather, and